The member for Dawson.
Mr Deputy Speaker, it is with the deepest sympathy for the Robinson family that I speak on the loss of Rowan, who was killed while serving his country in Afghanistan on Monday, 6th of June 2011, Afghanistan time. His loss is felt across this country, but nowhere more so, obviously, than with his mother and father, Murray and Peter, sister Rachel, and two brothers, Ben and Troy. Words alone cannot express the heartfelt sorrow that we feel when one so young and full of life is taken from us. But it is with more than words that we reach out to those closest to Rowan. We also reach out with our thoughts, our prayers, our sympathy and our gratitude. We offer gratitude for the life, the joy, the mateship and the service that Rowan Robinson offered to those around him, to his family, his friends, his colleagues and his country. Sapper Rowan Robinson, aged 23, was a young Incident Response Regiment engineer based in Adalia and Townsville in my electorate of Dawson. His parents too live in Adalia, but the grief of his loss is felt far beyond North Queensland. Rowan grew up with his family in Duranba, where he attended Cudgeon Public School. He later attended Mount St Patrick's College at Murwillumbah and Kingscliff High School. He was a long-time member of the Cudgeon Headland Surf Life-Saving Club. He left behind his life in New South Wales and fulfilled his dream of joining the Australian Defence Force. No doubt those who knew him back then will remember the easygoing nature that endeared him to so many. He was a popular young man among all he encountered, among friends, among colleagues, and in the Defence Force with the chain of command. And his colleagues were as dear to him as he was to them. Sapper Robinson was on his second deployment in Afghanistan as part of Operation Slipper when he was tragically killed by insurgents. I understand that Sapper Robinson and other Australian troops were with their partners from the Afghan National Police and were deployed to the Northern Helmand province in Afghanistan, where there was a known insurgent distribution and supply cell. They discovered a large stash of weapons, including grenade launchers, ammo, assault rifles, communication equipment. And during that raid, the patrol was shot at. The patrol destroyed the stash and moved on to another area where they again came under heavy fire from several directions. And this is where Sapper Rowan Robinson was tragically taken from us. And I mention this only to say that Sapper Robinson died while saving lives. Every gun in that stash, every rifle, every grenade launcher, every bit of ammo and other equipment that was destroyed by Sapper Robinson and the rest of the patrol could very well mean that a person, a coalition soldier or an Afghani national is not killed now and into the future. That is bravery, Mr Deputy Speaker, to lay down one's life for his friend, and the friends in this case being his brothers in arms and our friends in Afghanistan who dream of a free and peaceful nation. To lay down one's life for one's friend, there is no greater bravery or love than that. Sapper Robinson's service was recognised by the awarding of the Australian Active Service Medal with CLASP International Coalition Against Terrorism, Afghanistan Campaign Medal, the Australian Defence Medal and the NATO International Security Assistance Force Medal. He has also been awarded the Army Combat Badge and the Return from Active Service Badge. And as civilians, it's very difficult for us to understand the depth of mateship amongst those serving on the front line. Sapper Robinson died fighting with his mates in a mission that will save lives, earning the respect of fellow soldiers, officers and those here at home. Words alone, Mr Deputy Speaker, cannot console, but I want to put on record my gratitude and respect for the life of Sapper Rowan Robinson and for his service to this country. I'm sure that the entire electorate of Dawson joins with me in expressing sadness at the news of his passing. Sapper Robinson is the 27th digger to die in combat in Afghanistan, and I take this moment to remember all of those who have fallen as well. Our thoughts and prayers are with Sapper Robinson's family at this time of grieving, and also with all the families of our servicemen who have fallen in conflict in Afghanistan. And I want to finish, Mr Deputy Speaker, with St Ignatius' prayer for a soldier. And the prayer reads thus: "Teach us, good Lord, to serve thee as thou deservest, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labour and not to ask for any reward, save that of knowing that we do thy will." Sapper Robinson might not have known that prayer, but he gave, fought, toiled and laboured for us all. And now he finds his rest and reward in the arms of the Eternal Father, while we here grieve for his wounds and the cost of his life for our nation. Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker.